Welcome everyone to HueFin News. Today is May 12, 2019. Your source of news before any trade decision. We're going to give you all the update on the three indexes for the United States, the Nasdaq, the S&P 500, as well as the Dow. We anticipated on our last video for these three indexes to continue to see movement to the upside, but we also prefaced the idea that the market, considering that we have been making all-time highs last week or the previous week before that the market can make an abrupt movement to the downside, in which many people would not be prepared to see the movement occur lower. And as I stated that in our video, that weekend, Donald Trump sent out a tweet stating that he's going to impose 25% increase tariff tax on Chinese goods of over $250 billion. And that was while the market wasn't open. Okay. And that ensued pre-market activity to where 1.5%, 2% across the board for these three indexes were moving lower prior to the market even opening. And then he sent out another text last week, again reemphasizing or probably even imposing more tariffs on Chinese goods if the trade talks for the United States and China does not pan out or come to fruition or even make an agreement. Okay, so that's why what we're seeing here on these three indexes took a very swift action movement to the downside. It causes a lot of the market participants to be on guard. They're definitely trying to recoup the profits that was had from this massive movement that came through the month of December of 2018. So many of these market participants have sought this opportunity to take some of the profits off of the table. And what we're going to do now, we're going to pay attention to see whether or not that strength is going to be maintained, or will we continue to see weakness entering these three indexes. Okay, so definitely want to thank you all for coming to our video. Make sure you go to our website, HueFinancial.com. There we place all of our news articles according to the charts there, so everyone can have the opportunity to see them. If you guys want to have more of this information, we do got free packages, one for $3, the other one for $5. The $3 one is for cryptocurrencies paired against BTC, and the second one is where we just literally look at other indexes, equities, commodities, cryptocurrencies, to see what is the likely movement prior to anyone else telling you all about it. So now let's go ahead and get started in our video for the three indexes. The first one we're going to pay attention to is the Nasdaq. This is the monthly price chart for the Nasdaq, and it all can tell we are seeing some weakness coming into the month of May for the Nasdaq. Okay, one of the things you can already tell off the bat is that we have seen an increase in volume. We're only at the second week in the month of May, and you can tell that we already are seeing the same amount of volume that we saw in April. Okay, we have already encompassed the second spread of last month. That tells me again that the market is changing its position. We are in the beginning phases of that occurring. So it can still play out to where the market can continue to see continuation higher prices for the Nasdaq. Okay, I'm going to extend this out a little bit further. And obviously you can tell already that the market is bouncing off that 7,400 point level, just like it did here in September 2018, where we had the follow through to where we saw a massive spread down for the month of June. That is yet to be seen as well. Okay, so looking at it on the weekly time frame, we have definitely seen a lot of volume come in this past week, something that needs to be paid attention to, because it took 5 weeks of price action of the Nasdaq pushing higher in price from 1 week to where we saw a movement to the downside. So I'm not seeing the Nasdaq continuing to show indications of high prices right now. What we're going to anticipate now is some consolidational trading in the market for the Nasdaq. 7,400 points to be support, 8,000 ultimately right here on this solid line here. 7,200 points can be a support area as well. Taking a look at the Nasdaq on the daily time frame, we saw a lot of volume come in on that Friday, so definitely continue to reflect to us that the buyers did come into the market. Let us know that 7,400 point level has been maintained momentarily for support. Okay, we still got a lot of volatility to contend with this upcoming week, so all eyes still needs to be attentive to the price chart as to what the market is going to do. Okay, I do see 7,700 points as a resistance area as well. So keep that in mind as we continue to trade out this upcoming week in the market for the Nasdaq. Okay, the last 4-hour chart in the Nasdaq is positive. It's definitely insinuating of some volatility and some sellers and some stockpile coming to the market. So by no means am I stating that we are out the woods yet. I'm still just literally telling you all that all eyes needs to be paid attention to in the market for the Nasdaq. Okay, I still expect more volatility to come to this particular index, considering that this is the technology sector and many positions, portfolios, pensions have invested in these major technology conglomerates. It definitely needs to be a little bit emphasized that the market can continually move to the downside. Okay, so right now, this upcoming week, I'm just literally seeing some more consolidational trading. Last week has confirmed that yes, a lot more people are uneasy right now, and the weakness is still anticipated to move lower. We have already found a minor support area at 7,400 points for the Nasdaq, but I still expect the market continue to move to the downside. It might even come all the way down here to 7,000 points. Okay, so just keep that in mind too. So I'm seeing the indications of weakness still being present. 7,700 point is the resistance area. Excuse me. And 7,400, maybe 7,300 points is the current support area. Okay, for the Nasdaq. Now we're going to go ahead and take a look at the S&P 500. This particular index again has seen pretty much the same action as the Nasdaq, so a lot of things hasn't changed. A lot of what I stated already for the Nasdaq is still anticipated to go forth in the S&P 500. Okay, you can already tell here on the monthly part for the S&P 500 that we have literally broken or traded lower than what we did last month in the month of April in the S&P 500. It's not a positive thing to see. We have already overcame the volume that we've seen in the month of April. So it tells us that a lot of the market participants are real active right now in the market for the S&P 500. Again, just like I said in the Nasdaq, the S&P 500 in 1 week has literally erased all of the work from the last 5 weeks of trading. Definitely something that is not a positive thing to see. Something that continues to reflect that the market is still weak. We bought some buyers came into the market last week, but only to close in the midpoint of that bar. It tells me that there's still a battle going on between the buyers and the sellers in this space. A lot of volume came in Friday too in the S&P 500, telling us that the market is still trying to grab some legs to continue to move to the upside, which is why I want to go ahead and pinpoint that 2920 will be a resistance area in the market for the S&P 500. Taking a quick look here at the 4-hour chart. Yes, we did end up the last Friday, the last 4 hours of the trading day positive. We might begin this upcoming work week, Monday, Tuesday, to try to hit that 2900, 2920 as a resistance area. That's about it. I'm just literally still seeing some more consolidational trading happening in the market for the S&P 500. 2920 resistance, 2840 is the current support area. If more negative news come out regarding the tariff or Iran or the Fed policy increasing interest rates, that can also push the S&P 500 back down to lower prices. It would have to be something of that magnitude to instill more fear in the market to push these indexes back down to lower prices. Okay, so right now, consolidational trading is the idea that we're looking forward to in the S&P 500. 2800 for support, 2920 for resistance. If we get a little bit more positivity in the market, then it is possible that it can make all-time highs in the S&P 500, but I'm not seeing that as of yet. So let's just stick with that consolidational trading in the market for the S&P 500. Now, the last one is going to be the Dow. And we told you the last couple of weeks that the Dow is one of the weakest out of the 3 indexes regarding the probability of it making all-time highs. And as you all can tell, it's still one of the weakest indexes to date. Taking a look right here, you guys can see here on the monthly chart that the Dow is still insinuating to us that it's continuing to give us a lot more weakness. This current month has already literally almost encompassed the last 2 months of market activity in this space. You can also see that it's making like a triple top in the market, so that can definitely instill more weakness coming into the space for those technical analysts out there who can see the same thing, that the market has already made a triple top in this space. We saw a lot of volume come in last week as well, so we definitely need to keep our eyes open as to the momentum in this particular index continue to move to the downside. But when you look at it on the daily time frame, all three of these indexes are doing the same thing. Okay, all of them have shown us a lot of volume that last week and Friday, and able to allow the Dow to come back up to that 26,000 point price. But again, we're trading around areas of resistance. It might hit 26,250, 26,500. But again, the overall trend has changed from the last 2 or 3 weeks of the market in these three indexes. Okay, so it would just literally be like a very short-term trade in these three indexes to see higher prices. I'm still anticipating more or less consolidational trading. It is anticipated that these three indexes will continue to move to the upside in the beginning half of this upcoming work week. Okay, and once we hit these areas that have been identified in our video, 26,250 or 26,500 points, that is when we'll need to readdress and see whether or not the market is going to be able to maintain the strength that came in on Friday. Okay, so you had to literally play this on a day-to-day basis to see whether or not the market will continue to grab legs and continue to move higher, or will more of that resistance come in to push these three indexes down to lower prices. So just to give you all a recap, these three indexes are still poised to move higher only in the first half of the week, and once it hits those points that we identified on these three indexes, then you will have to reevaluate whether or not the strength is going to be maintained on a daily basis, because the moment that you see stockpile coming to the market for these three indexes, we're going to get the same amount of spread that we've seen on the 6th and the 7th of May. Okay, so right now, consolidational trading for the long term, near term, like Monday, Tuesday, continuation of higher prices. Then again, you have to come in and see how the market has been trading from that movement to the upside. Okay, so that's our news for today for the Nasdaq, the S&P 500, as well as the Dow. Right now, we're still seeing continuation of weakness in the long-term consolidational trading. Near-term movement to the upside. Give us your thoughts. Give us your opinion about these three indexes. Let us know if you think the bubble has been popped. Do you think the market is going to make another dramatic movement lower as we go throughout the summer months of 2019, or will we continually see increases to the upside in price? Make sure y'all maintain your profitability, and don't forget to go to our website, HueFinancial.com, to get more information about the financial markets.